They paid on time.
I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House.
Psycho scores.
John Jones, White House, chama.
Casa
Branca,
John
Jones.
John
Jones. Super good.
They caught up on their 60 days late. Jesus, CP 110. I've never heard of that. 30 days late rated adjustments. 7 rated adjustments. 95. Jesus.
Michael, how are you, guy?
Lawrence, I found something really interesting.
Damn it, Rick. I swear to God.
What's going on, guys? All right, today we are going to be talking about Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, right? Not only do I think this is the worst matchup you could make in any division right now, I think it is the most pointless matchup and a downright disrespectful matchup to be making in the rankings at the moment. I think it makes no sense. You might disagree with me. You might think, you're fucking stupid. Your haircut fucking sucks.
I'll be crying if I look like that too, bro. That's fucked up what they be doing to y'all.
Pause, watch the rest of the video, and at the end, if you still disagree with me, then you can leave a hate comment. I don't care. One more thing is, if this fight does happen, it's just further proof that Daddy Dana is got some crazy blackmail on him by the big man Jones. Alright, let's get into the next slide. Alright, in this first slide, we're going to be mainly talking about why the fight makes no sense whatsoever. Right? I know a lot of people, when they probably heard about this matchup and that it could possibly happen, their first thought in their mind was, Jon Jones is fat. Right? Why would Jon Jones be calling out the champion of the weight class under him when he could be fighting the champion of the weight class in him? Or,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
wait. Anyways, this fight just makes no sense at all. Never has a champion or a top contender in any division called out somebody in a lower weight class. Why would you do that? We've had beefs in the past where they've been like, maybe, okay, well, if you think you can come up here and fight me, then I'll whoop your ass when you get up here, right? But we've never had a fighter refuse to fight the champion and then call out somebody under him. This is the equivalent of Alexander Volkanovski fighting, no, this is the equivalent of Diego Lopez, because he's not even the champion, calling out Merab Dvalishvili. Why would he do that? I know I'd probably just butchered his name.
Are you retarded?
But why would he do that? It's pointless. It's stupid, right? The next reason why is simply for the fact that Jon Jones, for the last year and a half before calling out Pereira, was playing this little tag game with the UFC and with fans that, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot. Maybe I'll probably fight Tom Aspinall, right? He has given us a fight date. Oh. They come in twos. Ooh. All right. Jon Jones has already given us a attempted fight date, attempted fight time. They were supposed to fight. The UFC was willing to give him buku bucks, but he still ignored it, right? He even made the interim title have to be defended. That makes no sense. Why would anyone do that? He did that for a super fight for his legacy, which by no means should have even happened. The Stipe fight shouldn't have even happened. But the UFC still allowed it to happen, right? Are they really going to let that happen again? Are they really going to let him dodge Tom Aspinall again and go for somebody else that is clearly an easier fight just for some money and legacy? No, that's stupid. Just now, we talked about why Pereira wants to fight. We'll go a little bit more into detail with that, right? But the biggest thing is, why does Jon Jones want to fight Pereira? Of course, we're all probably thinking the same thing, but I'll break it down a little bit more, right? The first reason being, he's a pussy, right? That's probably what everybody was thinking. He's a big pussy, right? He's afraid, right? But if you break it down, he actually is, honestly, pretty smart for picking this fight, even though it makes no sense at all. He knows he can get the fight, right? And why is this fight favorable for him? Because not only stylistically does Pereira match up better for him, he has little to no grappling whatsoever. He's a good, exciting striker. He's a big fan favorite, so people are going to like to watch the fight. Casuals are going to tune in to watch the fight. But it's only going to be easy for Jones, right? That's why he wants it. Tom Aspinall, even though he's not the best at his wrestling, he did jiu-jitsu when he was a kid. He has submission victories, right? This is obviously a way harder fight than Pereira is. Pereira is also a light heavyweight. He's going to have to work up to heavyweight and then also be at a new weight class to fight Jones, where Jones is already settled at heavyweight and made his training, took in a fight on an easy opponent, gotten practice in the octagon with that weight on his body. It's clear that Pereira is a way easier fight for Jones. If you say anything else, you're clearly a casual. Not only is it an easier fight for Jones, but just the money. Overall, just the money is way better for Jones if he fights Pereira. We can break down those analytics right now if you don't believe me. Right? When you look at the Google searches, which I know might not correlate exactly to number of fans, but Alex Pereira is a lot bigger name and a way more popular fighter than Tom Aspinall is.
Give my money.
If you look at the chart right here, right, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but Alex Pereira is the blue, and in the red is Tom Aspinall, right? Of course, they've both had a lot of spikes. Usually this is around the time when they're fighting, their name gets up a lot, right? But within the last 5 years, Alex Pereira has been a lot more popular fighter than Tom Aspinall. He's a lot bigger name. He's a superstar, right? To where, of course, it's going to be way easier money and it's going to be a way easier fight to sell just because so many casuals and people that barely watch the UFC are going to want to watch Alex Pereira rather than Tom Aspinall simply for the fact oh, it's Alex Pereira. I'll watch this fight. Oh, he's fighting Jon Jones. Dude, those guys are both really good. I don't watch that often, but I've heard they're really good. And they're going to tune in and watch the fight and pay money to see this fucking fight. All right, let's break it down a little bit more on possibly why Pereira wants to fight Aspinall. I know I touched on it earlier, right? Of course, it's easy money. But when you look at it, it is a win-win scenario. Let's break it down. Okay, if he beats Jon Jones, he just beat Jon Jones. If he beats him, of course, that's a way bigger win than Tom Aspinall or anyone else in any division for that matter. It's Jon Jones, arguably the biggest name in the sport right now. Second, if he beats him, that is insane star power. All at the end of the day, it's money, 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 and then that guarantees him a title shot with Tom Aspinall. Then, if he loses to Jones, it's still not that big of a deal. Okay, he lost to Jon Jones. Everyone considers him the greatest fighter of all time. Not true. But everyone considers Jones the greatest fighter of all time. He gave it a shot. Why not? At least he tried, right? So he gets to get in there, get to heavyweight fighting shape, fight at heavyweight against championship level material with no consequences, right? This is basically, I go a little bit more depth in this later, but this is basically an exhibition fight. It means nothing in terms of the rankings, right? So whether he beats him or not, it doesn't matter. If he loses to him, okay, he fought at heavyweight, maybe he did a little bit all right, maybe he made it to the second round, third round. Okay, you did all right. That's good, right? Throw him to Aspinall. Why not? Give him a title shot, right? Just because it gives him time to get into heavyweight fighting shape, work at heavyweight, and then stay there and prepare for Tom Aspinall, right? No matter what happens, if Pereira fights Jones, that is the most beneficial fight you could ever take right now. And let's say, just hypothetically, if the fight does happen, which I hope it doesn't, right? What happens after this fight, okay? Tom Aspinall will still be the heavyweight champion of the world. So, in terms of the rankings in heavyweight, it means nothing, right? It is basically a top contender match. Who the fuck thinks Alex Pereira and Jones should fight for top contender? They both deserve it, and they could both fight him, and it be fine, okay? John Jones is still going to ride into the sunset and retire. It doesn't matter. No matter what, if he never fights again, if he fights Tom Aspinall, or if he fights Alex Pereira, every single time, he's going to retire after. He is not fighting again. This is his last fight. So it's either just let him retire right now, or let him jerk off on your face, Dana White, and then take this fight. Whether he wins or loses, he gets a fuck ton of money and rides off into the sunset. And then either way, basically no matter what, Alex Pereira and Tom Aspinall are still going to fight. Whether Alex Pereira wins and then he beat Jones, he's that guy. Oh my god, he beat John Jones, which is impossible. Let's just be honest, it's impossible. It's going to be like minus 2,000 odds. I'm putting all of my fucking money on John Jones if that fight happens. And if you don't, you're a fucking idiot. But either way, even if he loses to Jones, he still fought John Jones just now. And even though he got submitted in the 3rd round, right, he still fought John Jones. And he's a heavyweight right now, so might as well just put him against a champ. He's such a big name. They're going to make him fight Aspinall no matter what, right? So this is just, end of the day, pointless and downright disrespectful to Tom Aspinall, the current heavyweight champion. He should be the one calling the shots. I understand it's a business and star power means everything, not really who holds the belt. That's why O'Malley got a 2nd title shot after he got dominated. I love O'Malley, but it's a fact, right? But it's just simply disrespectful to Tom Aspinall after he's done everything right for the company, and he's just being treated disrespectfully. All right, what could we do instead? If the John Jones fight and John Jones and Alex Pereira fight doesn't happen, what could we do instead? All right, let's think about it, right? Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira. That is arguably almost just as big of a fight. Everyone that pays attention to the UFC is going to watch this. This is a really big fight. It's Alex Pereira going up to heavyweight to fight Tom Aspinall. This fight has been cooking for a really, really long time. A lot of people would love to see this, right? Maybe not so many casuals. I'll admit it's not going to be as big of a fight, but it's still going to be a massive fight. Or the biggest fight possible to make in the UFC at the moment is clearly Jones versus Aspinall. Who else would want to watch anything else? I know that Pereira is not as big of a name as, Aspinall is not as big of a name as Pereira, but still, this is an actual challenging fight. So many people are going to tune in just to see, oh my god, this might actually be the guy that beats Jones, right? I personally think Jones can still win. I love Aspinall, but I do think Jones would probably beat Aspinall, just to be honest with you. But I could see Aspinall winning, right? I don't see Pereira winning against Jones, right? So at the end of the day, why would anyone watch a fight where you know Jones is just going to go in there and dominate, right? People will just still watch the Stipe fight, but that had such a low view count just because, oh my god, okay, of course he's going to fucking beat him. He's an old man. He hasn't fought in fucking 5-6 years. Whoop-de-doo, he knocked him out. Oh my god, he's been firefighting professionally for the last couple years. Oh my god! But at the end of the day, these should be the fights that are happening, right? John Jones versus Alex Pereira makes no sense whatsoever, is obviously just a cash grab, and is just a stupid fucking fight. And if you think it should happen, you're a casual, dude. End of the day, you're a casual if you think Alex Pereira and John Jones is a better fight to make than either of these.
Okay.